my dog's going mental. I have locked her out though. So, good morning from Rockstar HQ. I'm joined by the gorgeous Trudie Core this morning. Good morning, Trudie. How are you, my darling?
Good morning. I'm good, thank you. And you?
Very well indeed. So, I've just seen the notification go out there. If you are joining us live, it would be absolutely epic if you would pop in, say hi, let us know that you're around, let us know who's here. We're probably just going to look a little bit silly while we share the live feed a little bit. We're probably going to look a little bit like that. But that's all good. So, how are we all and who is around? It would be great to see. I am going to put that into just like that. There we go. So, good morning, Kelly. Lovely to see you. Good morning, Veronica. Good morning, Christina. How are we all? Good morning, Karen. Lovely to see you. So, we're here to talk about spiritual business and how some of my gorgeous rock stars have built their spiritual businesses and decided that that was what they were going to do. And I think that it's been really, really interesting throughout the series, which I'm going to put together in a blog so that you can see them all together and you can completely indulge in hours worth of spiritual business learning. But we're joined by Trudie, and she is she's the head girl at Indigo Grace. So where did it all start, Trudie?
Ooh. I don't know. Spirituality has been in my life since I was 15. So for half my life, there's been angel cards, crystals, and divination tools all around me. But for half of that time, I also thought it was a load of crap.
So it came from your mum, didn't it? Your mum's deeply spiritual.
Yeah, she's just uber spiritual. And for years, I always thought she was just away with the fairies. So she just kept encouraging, just to try it and to see. And so I'd keep going back to cards. She'd always giving me crystals and stuff like that. So they were always just around me, and there's kind of no avoiding it. But it wasn't until I was 23 and had my 2 babies at that stage, and I hit the worst patch in my life. And just spirituality brought me back out of it, getting into meditation, getting in connection with my angels, using the cards. That took me out of that bad place. And that's when I kind of started to realize this is not away with the fairy stuff. This actually works, with this. There's something behind it. So yeah, that was when I kind of realized that I loved this and I wanted to do it every day. And I just started doing something every day around it, whether it be doing a meditation for herself, whether it be pulling a card for myself or whatever. There was something in every day. And then as kind of a little bit more time went on, I kind of went, I want to work in this, because I was helping my friends. I was helping friends of friends. And I just realized, this is needed. This is a service. It is needed. And I want to do it. I want to be the one to provide it because I loved it. And I never loved anything I ever did before like I love this. So, yeah, it was just a kind of a no-brainer. Then I kind of had to pull up my big girl pants and start a business.
Crack on. Veronica says, your mum rocks. She needs to come on one of Emma's lives. Well, she's been on. She had a little bit of a guest slot, didn't she, at the end of one of our card pulls? She was a little bit reluctant, but she did come on and she did have a go. Christina said she's just in very quickly because she's got a 2-year-old birthday boy running naked and wild.
Hey!
Happy birthday, little man! So all good fun, yeah, in your household this morning. So we started off, and when I met you, how long had you been in business?
1 year.
1 year. Yeah. And the business had started out as a local business as well as a business online, hadn't it? Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I had a Facebook page, and a year into business, really all I was doing was card readings, not online. It was all face to face at that time. And I was doing let me see. I started in the market at that point, I think. Yeah, I would have started in the market. So I was kind of selling crystals, metaphysical stuff, you know, dream catchers, all these kind of things, from a little market stall. So I was very local, and I had run a couple of Learn to Read Angel Cards courses locally, but I was online. So I was really only reaching people in my area. And my area is not very big. It's not very big. I live really rural. So
nowhere. There's just nowhere there. Veronica says, I miss your market. It was the best one around. So what happened then with that? How did that progress to where you are now?
How I met you was really where it progressed from. I had kind of got the idea that, you know, I still do live really rural. It wasn't always accessible for people to come to me and to learn from me. I knew other people were doing online courses, and I wanted to find out how I could do an online course. Mm-hmm. So I remember it was in the Leonie Dawson workbook group that I asked, because there seemed to be a lot of people in there who knew how to do online courses. And I just asked, how do you find out how to go about making an online course? And they sent me your name. Lots of people sent me your name. And I got in touch with you. And if I remember rightly, it was about 10 o'clock at night. And you had messaged me back in the space of a few minutes with a link to a freebie, which told me how to set up an online course. And I was like, what? She's giving this stuff away. But yeah, that's how we met. And that's where the progression started then. So I started out then with the one online course that I learned how to make from your freebie. And then that was, I think, like October or November time. And then by the January, you had rebranded, and I loved your new brand at that time. And I just thought, oh, she's epic, like she's amazing. So I started stalking you, and I joined your Smash Hits Success Bootcamp. And yeah, from there, then things just started to grow. It's gone on to more and more and more courses and membership clubs and all sorts.
So tell us what have you got now? What do you sell now? So you went from face-to-face readings and a little market stall. What do you sell now?
Now I do online readings mostly. I still do some face-to-face, but I prefer the online readings. They are quicker, and you get to keep them, you know, so they're nice. I have the Soul Sanctuary, which is my membership club. I have my Confident Oracles, which are my latest card reading class. I have
credit for the name there. I'm talking name.
She named it, not me. So credit where credit's due. What else have I got? I have got Crystals for Beginners, which is a lovely little course which teaches you all about crystals. I have the Manifestation course, which I plan on doing something soon with, but it's kind of an ongoing course that you can kind of access at any time, and all the information is there for you, and that teaches you all about the law of attraction and stuff like that. And then I sell gorgeous crystals, which I'm going to go over.
Yeah, she plays crystal porn regularly.
Yeah. So that's mostly what I do. Aside from that, I'm still developing some of my own skills, and I like to have a play out on Facebook with that and try new things. And yeah, so I love it. I like what
relationship skills that you're looking to harness at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been hiding away from them for all my life, and now I've decided it's time. I'm gonna stick myself out there and practice a little bit more, and it's going well. I have to say, it is going well. I'm getting good feedback on it, but it's still very scary to start something new.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I talked to Kate last night, we talked about fear, and I think that it is something that is a really relevant point to bring up. Is that there's so many memes and stuff out there that talk about be fearless and you've got to be and then you go, yeah, but shit, I'm not fearless and I'm a bit scared. So how do you deal with that, other than, you know, because you obviously embrace and move forward rather than go, I'm not doing it because I'm scared. How do you deal with that?
But, you know, I remember a couple of years back, you said to me, you need to start doing live videos. And I went, nah, not today, not happening. And you went, yeah, you got to do live videos. You're going to reach the people you want to reach through live videos. And I remember at that time being absolutely petrified. I don't even think I'd done a pre-recorded video at that point with my face on it. And like that, from that moment when you said you've got to do it, if you want to reach people, you've got to do it. That's kind of the mentality that has stuck with me. If I want to reach people, I've got to do it. And not only just reach people, but if I want to develop myself, I've got to do it. So I can feel scared, and that's okay. And I can accept that feeling, but I've got to feel it and do it anyway. I've got to let that fear be my driving force behind me. So yeah, everything I do, I feel scared about, but it's okay. We're still doing it.
I think that's the thing that I want to kind of normalise, is the fact that actually lots of this is frightening and moving forwards is scary, and you know, it's okay to feel scared to do this stuff, because most people, if they tell you the truth, do feel scared.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
What was it like the first time you pressed to go live?
Oh God, that was very, very scary. I don't even remember how many people watched it. I think I was just a bundle of nerves. I'm pretty sure I had notes taped all over my screen as well, just in case I forgot what I wanted to say. I'm pretty sure I didn't know how to knock it off. So I'm nearly sure at the end of that live video was me going, I'm not sure what I'm doing, just hang on. But yeah, the first time you go do anything, it's going to be bundles of nerves. But the second time you go do it, you've done it once now, you've got an idea, and you just crack on with it until it becomes second nature. I can hit live now and I'm just like, blah, 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 bye. You know, and it doesn't have the effect on me anymore that it did have. So I'm doing that with my oracles right now. I'm getting them to go live because it is an important part. And they were all like at the beginning going, oh my God, we have to go live. And now they're all 3 weeks in.
You can't shut them up, can you?
I get them off videos. Stop. We're going to have a chat about that, guys.
So what would you say has been kind of the most interesting, thought-provoking bit of growing your business?
Oh, becoming more vulnerable. Yeah, that you often forget that you are your business, you know, and people lose sight of that. I mean, even I have to say it myself, when I started this business, I wasn't thinking about the business was me. I was thinking the business was the angels giving messages to other people. So I was looking at it from the totally wrong point of view. And you taught me to become more vulnerable over the years, to share my story, to own my story as well, and to be comfortable with it. And that people are coming to my business because of me, not because of the angels, not because of the cards. They're coming because of me. So that was it was a hard learning curve, because sometimes it's very hard to be vulnerable, especially when you're in the process of stuff, or when, you know, shit hits the fan. It's hard to come out and say, shit's hit the fan, guys. I wasn't taking my own guidance and things have gone wrong. But I'm embracing that more and more, and I'm owning my lessons more and more. And, you know, I think it's not just growing as a business, it's also growing as a person with the business. And, you know, it's all interlinked. You don't even realize it until you start doing it properly.
Oh, totally. I think that the one thing that shocks most people is the fact that building a business is the biggest personal development exercise you will ever experience.
Absolutely. It's petrifying at times, but you know what? I wouldn't go back and change this. I wouldn't. I'm so pleased that I'm still in business 4 years down the line, and that I'm doing what I love every day. I'm helping people, and I'm getting fantastic feedback, and that's lovely. But what I look for in that feedback is that somebody got the help that they needed, and that is more important to me than what I said or what I did, or, you know, it's the proof is in the pudding. And if I'm still here 4 years later with what started as a very basic local business, then, you know, it's proof that you can do this, and that once you step past fear and you keep growing and going with it, you're going to get there, you know.
Talking about sharing your story, I remember one weekend, and I think it was a Saturday afternoon, and you had I ummed and ahed about coming on and telling your story, as in your full story, as in the girl who lived abroad, who was full of party, who had 2 children, who got married, whose marriage didn't really take the path she'd expected, who ended up back at home feeling really down, really depressed, really anxious and shitty. And I remember you sending me a message and saying, I'm actually bricking it to go and tell this story. Doing it and spending about an hour online and coming off the other end and going, oh my God, they're actually interested in that.
I don't think you ever realise that you are interesting until people tell you you are interesting. Yeah. So I always just thought, if I told that story, people will judge me. People will think bad of me. And it's a very vulnerable story, because when I tell it, you know, I talk about how I felt I was a shit mother and how I felt that I wasn't giving my children my all because of what I was feeling and experiencing at that time. Obviously, my marriage broke up, and that was, you know, I live, like I said, very rurally, and people around here tend to look down their noses at you a little bit, you know, and you get to be the talk of the village. So I was used to that mentality that if I share this, I'm just becoming the talk of the whole world. So they're all going to say, oh, here's your one now with the failed marriage and the anxiety and depression and yeah, who'd listen to her kind of thing. But, you know, when I shared it and I got out there and spoke about it, a lot of people embraced it, and a lot of people said, I can see myself in parts of your story, you know, and I can understand you, and I felt that way. And watching you now, past your anxiety, past your depression, so much further down the line, gives me hope. And people said to me, like, I've managed to leave a shitty relationship because I've listened to you, and I can see that you're doing so well on your own, and I realize I don't need to stay there. Or, you know, people say to me, I've got anxiety, but now I'm getting help because I'm seeing you out there beyond that. And that, you know, was worth it, a million times worth it, to go out and be vulnerable about that story. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it is so profound, the impact that you can have.
Yeah.
Of talking about something that you actually think it's like, oh, well, I've spoken about that before, and or I better not speak about that because, or whatever it might be that's stopping you. You know, it's amazing how you can create that connection, and you can truly inspire people and go at the end of it, wow, that was as a result of me sitting down one Saturday afternoon because the kids had gone over to grandma and having a chat.
Yeah. It was weird because you had told me a few times that I needed to, you know, share my story, share the person behind the brand, because at that time my name wasn't even in the business name. It was just Indigo Grace. I was just, like I had just kind of started doing the cards live and stuff like that, and I just got used to all of that, and I was like, oh my God, she's pushing me again. But then I did it, and I just realized, wow, that had a massive impact, and that helped a lot of people. But it also helped me to own my story and to be proud of how far I've come. And you know, it was a great lesson and a great experience to have. So yeah, now I tell it like it's nothing, you know.
Yeah. And I think it's really interesting is that, you know, when you say that, you know, being able to actually see how far you've come, because we're so close to our own stuff, because we're living our own stuff. We do forget about elements of that, don't we? And we do forget as well that new people come to our crowds all of the time, and actually, you know, retelling that story is just as important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was just talking to you before we came live about the figures, like, of people who've been coming to my pages and platforms and stuff. And it's crazy to think that there's 1,000 people who've joined my Facebook page in the last year who probably don't know that story, or probably haven't heard it all. So it should be retold for the benefit of those people, you know. And I'm sure there's people who've heard it before who probably listen to it again, even though I don't think it's that interesting. It resonates with people, and they do take something from it. But it is also a reminder to me every time I do tell it that, wow, you're even different from the first time you told that story to now, and you've grown so much, and you know your confidence is in such a different place, and all these different things that you pick up on yourself, and you look back over it. Yeah.
Has there been any elements of building your business that you've actually thought, no, I don't want to do
that? Isn't there always, though? Isn't there always? I think you'd be telling a big fat lie if you said that there wasn't. I have resisted a lot of things in my business. I'm scared of getting bigger and bigger, and that's happening all the time. Anyway, you know, looking at these figures that I wrote, it's happening whether I'm paying much attention to it or not. So yeah, I've resisted so many things. I've had a lot going on in my world in the last year as well, and that kind of created blocks in itself. I became time poor, and I became stressed as well all of the time. So there was a lot happening, and I had to prioritize what was important and drop what wasn't. And you know, I think I've got a lot of clarity from that as well, as to how I work and how I should work and stuff like that. The biggest, I suppose, resistance for me was sending a newsletter. I don't know why I resisted it so much, but I just thought people would get so sick of hearing from me and that I would be annoying them. And as it turns out, I'm not annoying them. And they're actually enjoying it. And they I have to say, fair play to the people who are on my email list. They reply to my emails and they tell me that they look forward to it, that they love it, that it gives them a great laugh or a boost or whatever. And I'm like, really? You know? But it's the one thing that I probably resisted the most out of everything was doing that email list. And now I can see that I shouldn't have been resisting it at all, that I should have been embracing it. And I should have probably started when you told me to 2 years ago.
Do you know what's super interesting though is that the email list one is really common. It's a really common one to resist. You know, certainly Kate resisted blogging and emails and, you know, getting into that kind of same groove with people. And it's funny because it does feel like it is a different thing, doesn't it? It feels very different, and it feels like you're touching somebody in a very different way because you're heading into their inbox and you're, I suppose it feels maybe a little bit more disruptive because on a social media news feed you can choose whether you come in or not.
Absolutely.
If it drops into your inbox, it feels that, but people want to hear from you. You know, they want to be part of your world. Do you want to run through the stats for the last year for me?
Yeah. The stats are 3rd of March last year, 3,432 people on my Facebook page. This morning, there is 4,312 on my Facebook page. 56 of those people came across this week, you know, so it's growing, and now it's growing quicker and quicker because I've been more present lately. Email last year in March was 507. It is now 842 as of this morning. Again, I've only started putting some consistency and effort into my email in the last few weeks. I've been talking more about it.
Not bad for someone who's completely resisted their newsletter.
No, it's not bad. And, you know, I suppose I always dreaded it because when I send out an email, somebody might unsubscribe. Now I'm kind of embracing that because they weren't supposed to be there. They just weren't. You know, they were there for however long they were meant to be, and now they're going. And that's great, you know. And they will hopefully find whatever is right for them. And that's the way I look at it now. So every time somebody comes off the list, I'm seeing 3 more come on the list. And I'm kind of going, why is there even a point in worrying about those kind of things? So yeah, there's been massive growth. I think Instagram has grown about 300. I'm not great on Instagram. I'm trying to be better. I was doing well last week, and now this week I'm kind of going, Instagram fear. But I will try and tackle that.
You did really well last week.
Yeah, I was doing good. I was on there doing card of the day and everything, and now this week I'm like, fear.
Well, it's another one of them, and it's another one of them that you get over the resistance, and then you've got to get the consistency.
Yeah.
So once you get over that first level of resistance, it's then about becoming consistent on the platform that you want to use, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like, I'm grand on Facebook. I can more or less get out 4 posts a day. Sometimes it's 6, you know, without any hassle, and that's pretty grand. And I'm consistent in what I do there. I turn up every morning around 9 o'clock for card of the day, and I kind of always let them know in advance what's coming up, and they're never left wondering what's she doing today. You know, they kind of know, and they can join in with what they want. Other platforms, not so consistent with, but I'm getting better all of the time. Twitter, I don't bother with. I just don't bother. Don't follow me on Twitter. It's not worth it. But the rest, I'm doing not too bad. At YouTube, I didn't have a YouTube channel 2 years ago, or I had set one up, but I didn't use it. Now on YouTube, I have 125 subscribers, and one of my meditation has 2,500 views. And that caught me by surprise, because you don't get notified of these things. Like, you know, you don't get emails in your inbox telling you, wow, your meditation has hit 1,000 views, 2,000 views. So that just caught me by surprise one day, and I was like, wow, oh my God, there's people actually watching this. Because you tend to forget about it, because it's not, I suppose I don't ask for comments under my video on YouTube or anything like that. You know, I don't ask people to interact. And it's funny when you do get a comment and you go across and you look and you're like, oh, wow, somebody watched it, you know. Then when you see the stats and you're like, holy moly, 2,500 people watched it. It's a bit, whoa.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So what is the mission behind your business?
The mission behind my business is very straightforward. I want to make spirituality easy, accessible, and fun. I think spirituality, a lot of the time, is sold as overcomplicated, difficult. I think, you know, a lot of us probably see these psychics and mediums and stuff who are on the telly who, you know, they kind of have this persona about them that they are extremely special and that they're the only ones in the world who can do this and whatnot. And I don't agree with any of that. I think we all have a sixth sense. I think we can all access that sixth sense. We can all use it in whatever way we want to use it, as long as it's for good. And I think we should have fun with it. I don't think spirituality should be difficult or complicated. I don't think it needs to have big jargon or fancy language around it. I think break it down and make it simple, make it fun. So that's what I do. I just make it accessible and fun and simplify it.
How about the whole holier than thou of spirituality?
Zeros to spiritual heroes overnight.
That's what I'm looking at.
I hate that. I just hate that. I've always hated that anyway, you know, because I grew up going to church on Sunday and there was always somebody who was holier than thou. And when you come into the spiritual community, there is always somebody who is more spiritual than thou. And that drives me bananas, because at the end of the day, we all walk our own individual paths. We all have, you know, strong points. We all have weak points. My strong points might be totally different to yours. But that doesn't mean you're weak. It just means your strength lies in a different area. You know, there's stuff that I've attempted over the years to do and I've been absolute shite at. I maybe don't talk about them so much, but there has been stuff that I failed epically at. There's been other stuff that I've just been able to do, like, as you click your fingers, and that's fantastic, you know. But I think the thing of it is not to be knocking other people down, not to be coming along and, oh, wow, look at me, I'm so much better than you. Nah, forget that. That'll get you no friends, you know what I mean? Raise everybody up, lift everybody up and encourage people. That's what life's about. Stop being an ass.
I think that there's this growing trend as well on social media to have these kind of sort of juxtapositions of getting your elbows out and saying, I'm, you know, this, and this, and this, and if you don't fit into my criteria, then you can just fuck off kind of approach. And I know that we've talked about this before, and it inspired a post that you wrote about the fact that actually, do you know what, my door's open. And I talk about that a lot. You know, I say, if you want to message me, I will respond. If you want to email me, I will respond. What's your view on that? Yeah,
my door is open. You know, come and have a chat with me. Come and ask me your questions. I always try to help people in whatever way I can. Now, I'm not going to do readings for you over Messenger or anything like that, but I will give you an answer, or I will direct you to a blog that I wrote that has an answer in it or whatever. I am not here to act like I've all the knowledge and you don't. I remember I went to a spiritual fair about a year ago, and I generally don't like spiritual fairs. If you want to see people with big egos, go to them kind of things. And I got a booklet on the way in, and the booklet was detailing all the readers and stuff that were there. And these readers were saying, like, oh, that they had an affinity with Padre Pio, that they had been blessed by the Virgin Mary, and that Archangel Michael is their steadfast companion and all this. And I just thought, who are they trying to sell this to? Like, really, who are they trying to sell this to? You know, each one of us has an affinity with the angels. Even you who may be watching this that does not know you have an affinity with the angels. You do. And not one of those readers were any more special than anyone else in the room, but yet they wrote all this jargon on this page, and I just thought, you're making people feel, you know, like they're below you. You're making people feel like, oh, we must worship at your feet, and, you know, you are the God of all the readers. And I just,
And I think that there's that difference between disempowering and empowering. And dependency versus let me help you find your own way.
Dependency is a nasty tack that I see being used a lot. I had somebody contact me a good few months back who was struggling with fertility, who was in the process of trying to pay or, you know, afford a mortgage, and she had a lot of issues going on in this girl's life. And God help her, she found this website, obviously Googling different things, came across this website, got this person, I'd love to call them names, I won't, it's not nice, but anyway, found this person who promised them that they could heal their fertility issues if they paid them the sum of $65, and then they could put a money spell on them if they paid another additional $40. And this was going on for 12 weeks, with every week there being a new spell or a new thing that this person could do. She ended up into the tune of about $3,000 in debt over 12 weeks to this person. And she came to me and she said, is she genuine? And I said, anybody who needs $3,000 is not genuine. Ever. I said, I don't care what she said to you, I don't care what she's done. That's not genuine. I said, somebody who is genuine will want to help you, will give you the best advice, and will tell you to go away and sort things out. They will not ask you to come back and spend more money. That is not how this should be done. And dependency is real. It does happen. People will get sucked into these holier than thou, spiritualer than thou types who act like they're the bee's knees, and they'll pay and pay and pay. And I just think that's disgusting. And I rant about these things on my page. I don't name and shame or anything like that, but I rant because I don't agree with it. And I think if we are going to work in this field, then shine light on where there is dark areas, or where the where things are blurring the lines a bit. Just let people know that you're not for that and you're not about that, and talk about it. Don't shy away from it and pretend like it's not there.
Yeah, we've also got a responsibility though, haven't we? You know, you're going to be helping and supporting people, whether they be vulnerable or not. I think that we've got a responsibility, one, to, you know, not seek any dependency from anyone on us. You know, I think that we talked in length last night with Kate about discernment and being able to take what you need, and the fact that you are your own best chance, because you're the one that knows, you're your best expert, you're the one that knows, you're the one that will take the bits that you need, and also listening to your gut when it comes to these kind of teachers, because if that lady that was contacting you had been all in, she wouldn't have asked that question.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If she listened to her own gut, she'd have already known the answer to that. Yeah,
but I think, you know, there's a fear as well surrounding spiritual people, especially when you can hear that they cast spells and stuff like that, that, you know, they could all of a sudden do something nasty to you. And, you know, like that, there's a fix for everything. And nobody should have fear about it. Nobody should, you know, find it so overcomplicated and scary or anything like that. Always approach somebody that you trust or that has a bit of insight that would be able to help you if you are feeling that way. But definitely listen to your gut. Anybody who's telling you that they can fix all your problems is not spiritual. They're not. You know, at the end of the day, we can heal, we can advise, we can do things like that, but we cannot take your life in our hands and fix it. We just can't. So anybody who says you can are liars. So that's my 20 cents on it.
Totally. So coming back to the business perspective, did you always feel that it was okay to set up your business as a business? Because I know that there's, you know, a huge thing about charging and about money and all of that other stuff.
That's a kind of a tough one. You see, the position I was in when I started my business was that I was living on benefits at the time, and I had to be above board and I had to be honest. So there was no kind of sneaking under the table. That's not a good thing to do ever. So I got the opportunity to go on a business course and set up the business properly with the help and assistance and all of that, and go legitimate. And I took it. But I remember then when businesses started, and I'm kind of going, oh my God, I feel really awful charging a price for these things. I feel really awful, you know, having to cover my expenses. But I had to, you know, pay my accountant at the end of the year. I had to pay my electricity bill. I had to pay for these things. You have to put a price. But I was very conflicted with that for a long, long time. And I think a lot of people who are spiritual entrepreneurs are conflicted about money and charging, and it's scary. And even still, I get a little bit conflicted. You know, there's the best part of me always wants to do everything for free. And then I have to look at my 2 children and think, well, they don't really want to live on beans and toast for the next few weeks. So I better charge, you know. It's a tough spot that I think we all find ourselves in, but it is possible to overcome it and kind of have a better head on your shoulders about it. And you've definitely helped me a lot with that. I often have to still run my prices by you, and you'll say, well, that's not what I was thinking, or that, you know, needs to be raised, and I'm kind of going, just do it this way. No. But yeah, like that's why I come to you, because you have that more logical side, and like you are still empathic and all of that, but you will say to Trudie, hang on now, that's a little bit far out there, that's a little bit ridiculous. So yeah, I have to run it by some sensible people before I set things in motion. Yeah.
Did you think that the businessy bit would be really hard?
Yeah. I always thought business was something that I would not be able to do. And bearing in mind, I left school quite early, especially here in Ireland. I left school at 15, so I wouldn't have even had what is your equivalent of the GCSE. I did eventually get myself back into college and stuff like that. I was always doing courses. I've done about 15 business courses. I've done accounts. I've worked as an accountant. I've done all these kind of things. I've done sales and all that before. I've done customer service. So I had a good kind of roundabout view of what goes into a business. But I suppose I never thought I'd be able to manage it all. I suppose I thought that I would get overwhelmed. There have been times when I've got overwhelmed. But then you've always said to me, have a strategy, you know, have a plan and put things in place, and don't do your accounts at the start of the month. Don't leave them. And you'd say to me, check on your stats, know where you're going, know where you've been, you know, grow on these things. All these different systems that you've kind of helped me to put in place really make having a business a lot easier. I'm not business minded. I'm spiritually minded. I'm away with the fairies a lot of the time, you know. So yeah, and I'm lazy, right? I'll admit I'm lazy. So I need people in my life who are motivational, who will kick my ass when I need it as well, in a loving way, I must say. And I do need to sometimes to have those guidelines in place and to have a strategy and stuff like that. So that has been very important, that I've learned. You have to know your limitations. You will either be a very organized person or you won't be. And if you're not organized, then you need to have a support system around you who will help you to be organized. There's no point in me surrounding myself with a load of fairies, because we'd all be just in, you know, Peter Pan land somewhere, getting nothing done and achieving absolutely jack shit, but loads of spiritual enlightenment going on. So it's really important that you do have a crowd around you who are going through the same things, but getting on as well, being inspired by people like yourself, like Kate, seeing that it is possible to have a heart-centered business. It is possible to keep going and building and helping and serving all the while. And, it is important to know that there are jobs you will not like. And you either have the choice of cracking on and doing them yourself or outsourcing them to somebody who likes them and taking it off your plate. So there's always a solution to everything. But I think the most important lesson of that is surround yourself with people who get it and who will get you and who will help you.
Cool. So what would your big business tips be? What would you give as kind of your biggest business advice to people who are either setting up or they're ready to actually take it seriously or take it to the next level? What would your advice be to them?
Follow Emma Holmes. And I say that actually in all seriousness, right? I do. And before I met Emma, I found other business coaches. Well, that's what they call themselves, coaches. And not one of them was spiritually minded. So they were very logical thinkers. And their thinking was that I should do 100 readings a week at €50 a head. And that way I'd be so well off and my business would be a huge business and all of this. But that's, physically impossible. I wouldn't have the energy for 100 readings a week. I was listening to Kate last night talking about how many readings she was doing on eBay for like £5 and £10. And I was going, oh my God.
Can you imagine? Can you just imagine?
Absolutely.
It's exhausting.
It is exhausting. I limit myself now to 2 a day. And that's it. I will not do more than that because I'm just not energetically able to do that and give time to my other courses, my students, my page, everything else. And my children as well, because they do still come home at 2 o'clock. I do still have to go into mammy mode. So yeah, I met a lot of people who wanted to nurture and help me grow my business, but really they didn't. They just wanted to see the dollar signs flashing up, and there was no care towards my physical well-being or my mental well-being at the end of it. So when I started working with you back 3 years ago now, I mean, you started encouraging me to step back at times, and I'm kind of going, she's telling me to step back from business? What? And you were like, no, you need to. You're going to burn out. You need to step back. But, you've, as well as turned into a friend over the 3 years, you have always been committed to me growing a sustainable business, not just growing it for the sake of growing it, not just throwing stuff out there for the sake of throwing stuff out there, and it's not about the dollar at the end of it. It is about if you love what you do and you're enjoying what you do, then the money will come.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not loving it, then nah. So that's tip number 1. I mean, if you're here watching this live, if you're on Emma's page, you've obviously already got a little bit of an affinity towards her. Check out more of her stuff. She is absolutely epic and she cares. And that is a big thing for me, that she cares. Tip number 2 is don't think that you can do it all. You can't. And, it is okay to ask for help along the way. It is okay to, take a step back at times, review where you're at. Sometimes you need to change direction. I've changed direction like the wind a few times in my business, I'm going to do all this now for the next while. And then I went, no, I'm going to do all that instead. And, it's okay to do that. It is okay to do that. It is okay as well to fall out of love with your business at times, but it's making sure that you fall back into love with your business. It's not black and white, and it's not either as complicated as people will tell you or as simple and straightforward as people will tell you. You'll face your own challenges through your own businesses, but there's no challenge that doesn't come with a solution, and you can always get to the other side of it. So I think they're probably my best tips to give to somebody.
And I think that, I think it's also, I suppose, that links in with that is give it a go. Actually give things a chance and give things an opportunity and let yourself feel your way into things at times.
Yeah.
I'd often say to you, how does that feel? Let's feel our way into it. Let's see what it's doing. Because I think that so often we can become very much this is how it has to happen. And I think that this is something that comes up a lot for spiritual entrepreneurs, because in every other aspect, they trust their gut, they trust their intuition, they listen, they take their own counsel and their own guidance. As soon as it becomes business, lots of people will say, right, here's what you have to do. And they try and work through that verbatim, whether or not it works for them or not.
Yeah, no, step back sometimes. And as you said, feel your way into things. There's often been times where me and you have spoke about different things and we've gone, no, that just does not feel right. That doesn't sit with me. I don't feel comfortable with that. I don't see that going the desired way that we would like it to go. So we're not going to do that. And that's absolutely fine. There's often been times when I've not done something that other people would be expecting of me or hoping that I would do, just because timing's not right. There's other stuff going on. Like earlier this year, I wanted to do a card reading course. What is the Confident Oracle now? I wanted to do that in January. And there was stuff going on in my world. Like, my grandmother got really sick and she ultimately passed away in March. And if I'd have launched that in January, we did speak about that at the time, like, timing's just not right. There's just too much other stuff going on. That was before we even knew what was just about to come. And we said, no, we'll put that off. We will come back to it. We'll put it off. And thankfully we did, because otherwise I could have started something. And then I would have been left feeling really like, oh my God, I've let all these people down because, a lot's going on in my world and I'm not able to be at home with the computer and stuff like that. So it is good to feel your way into things and to check out everything else that is going on and not be like, oh crap,
And the thing is that when you actually say yes to something, and I see this a lot, right? There's so many things that we could all do and we're all really excited. When you're saying yes to something, it doesn't mean you're saying no to something else. So you not launching what was then the angel card class in January, we weren't saying no, never to it. We were saying, actually, you're just not right now.
Yeah.
And I did the same with Spooky School this year. And I was going to launch it earlier in the year. And I had many, many discussions about getting it out there. And I was actually, do you know what? It doesn't feel right now. And I'm not prepared to go with it when it doesn't feel right. And I would be going through the motions. I wouldn't be serving people in the best possible way. And I wouldn't be happy. And therefore, it wouldn't have the impact that I want it to have. So that's why it's only open now. Exactly. The spring intake for 2018 of Spooky School is open right now. And if you want to be involved, then I'm not going to go big sell on it because I don't. There's a link there. And if you think that the things that we've been talking about resonate with you, go and read the page. Go and read the page, check it out, see what you think. Because you'll know. Trust your gut. You'll know if it's right for you. You'll know if I'm the right person to help and support you and guide you. Everyone who has done these lovely interviews with me, Andrea, Kate, Trudie, are all Spooky School students. They're all in there. So if you think that it is right for you, then go and have a look, because I think that it's an amazing place to grow. I think it's an amazing place to really be able to hone your business elements of your skills, but also your spiritual elements. I think that there's a good mix in there. And we've set off with a little task today. There's a week left to join, but I've popped a little task into the group this morning that everybody's getting their teeth into already, to start to have a look at who you are within your business. So that's super interesting. Is there anything you want to add, my darling?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I've been in Spooky School since the first intake last year, and it is an amazing place to learn and to grow. But not only that, I get to sit this Spooky School again now because of all of you lovely people coming in. So it's good for me as well because I get to refresh it. As well as that, I've made connections with other spiritual entrepreneurs. I don't know everything spiritually. So I've met some lovely people in there who have come over into my soul sanctuary and done months in there. I've got people who are going to send me over blogs so that they can talk about things that they know really well that I don't, but my crowd get the benefit of that information. And that's, fantastic. So it's a really good place to build up relationships as well. You are not alone in there. you know, everybody in there has gone through or is going through similar struggles to you, because a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs face the same problems.
Yeah.
It's fantastic in the sense that, you know, if you're not tech minded and stuff like that, there's help there for all of that kind of thing. You know, there's information that you can access in modules and stuff like that. But I've not ever come across a program that helps you to grow your spiritual business like this. Now, I've seen ones advertised before, and again, they're all about the making the money. Whereas this is making sure that you are doing things within your limitations, that you are, you know, making money at the same time as having a sustainable business that isn't going to crash and burn in 6 months because you've burnt out and you're not able to keep it going. So it's made a massive, massive difference to me. It's enabled me to step back a little bit from my business when I've needed to and know that it's perfectly okay to do that. And I've made friends and good connections in there. So it's definitely a fantastic place to come and be. So I'm really excited because it's starting again next week and I get to do it all over again.
Yay! And yeah, once you're in there, you can retake every time it comes back around, and it's still relevant to retake every time it comes back around, because it doesn't matter what positioning you're in, it will help you think about the next position and the next movement forward and the next step of progress. So if you're interested, there is a little link there, and you can have a mooch on over and have a little look at the information, and you'll know. I'm not going to throw it down your neck. I'm not going to tell you that you'll be a big old fail if you don't take it, or any of that bullshit that we often see on people trying to take money out of you. This is about me being able to help you in a way that will allow you to grow in a way that is good for you. So, would anybody like to ask us anything? I am opening up the doors to questions if anybody wants to ask anything. Let's see what we've got in there. Let's go back down. Jenny's talking about the nasty televangelists and promising that God will only help them if they pay a fortune. Yeah, we've been there. Stuart says we give the tools and it is up to other people how they use them, or even if they use them. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You get out what you put in, don't you? At the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Jackie's listening to us on replay. Agree with the comments about charlatans, etc. Yeah, absolutely. Marie says, I'm like that. I find it really hard to price and charge. Marie, I've got a little pricing and charging video that I'm going to put into Confident Oracle as well there, so you can have a look at that. Let's have a look. Jackie says, I'm loving all of the insights from Kate last night and Trudie this morning. Emma, you're so motivating, and I'm grateful that you are instigating these live sessions. There's also one with Andrea Lancaster as well, Jackie. Like I said, I'll put them all up together on a blog so that you can watch them all if you've missed any. The insights are amazing from other people's challenges, and it makes you feel normal. That's, you know, I think that's the big thing, is normalizing what's very unique and bespoke about spiritual business, because it is very unique and bespoke. There are challenges that come up for spiritual business owners that you're going to do the air quotes, mainstream businesses don't face, or don't face in the same way.
That's very true. Very, very true. I was going to say too. It's gone out of my head now. I had something I wanted to say on that, but yeah, it's we're not mainstream business. We shouldn't act like mainstream business. We are spiritual, and like I said, a lot of us are a little bit more away with the fairies at times. So we do need to kind of be brought back in to do the mainstream stuff, the accounts and the boring side of things. But yeah, you know, it is important. It's all part of it. And like that, for my Confident Oracle, they're all in there learning to read cards confidently, to go out and do lives and stuff like that. But Emma's also coming in to give them a little bit of a help out in understanding how to create a sustainable business from that. And Spooky School would be the perfect addition for those types of people, you know, not just card readers. Spooky School encompasses everybody, really, doesn't it? There's healers, there's artists, yeah, Reiki, there's I know one of the women in there, she does spirit art and stuff like that.
Well, there's a couple of artists in there. We've got the gorgeous Sarah Cornforth, who's joining me on Friday to chat about spiritual business. who is the magical creatrix, and there's Roz as well, who does spirit art, which is really, really interesting. And there's holistic therapists in there as well, because if you are spiritual and you want to bring yourself into your business, it's also very, very relevant.
Yes.
Stuart says he's going to go and have a wee gander. Go and have a wee gander, Stuart. Kirsty says, I'll have a wee look at the link. It's always been a beauty therapist, but have gone down the more complementary route with treatments and holistic approach. Oh, well, there we are. That just makes sense. I feel drawn to the spiritual side of cards. I'm not sure where I'm really going. Would Spooky School still help? It absolutely would, Kirsty, because it'll help you become yourself in your beauty business. It will help you look at the additional complementary therapies, and it will also help you look at, and you'll be exposed to lots of people who've got lots of skills as well in very different sectors. So you might even be able to, jump in and start to try other things while you decide exactly what your direction is.
Absolutely.
Marie says, my Reiki is part-time as I work also, so trying to find a balance. Would Spooky School help with organising time? Yeah, there's lots of people in there who have what we call the side hustle. So they have a job, a proper job, and they're looking to set up their businesses around it. Business is a proper job, by the way. That's why I do use the air quotes with that. And also looking at how you start to replace the income from your proper job so that you can start to reduce your hours and bring your spiritual business up as to the forefront. Jenny's always aware with the fairies, which is fine. You're in good company. You can see that I have little ones that I don't know if they're out of shot today, but I've got little things floating around over here.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see them today? I don't think you can. Keeps grabbing my attention. I keep looking over.
A little bit. You can see some.
Got a baby in the room.
But yeah.
Anybody got any questions? Anything else that you want to ask us? Anything else that you want to go through? Da, da, da. Exactly, says Marie. Absolutely. Cool. Well, we'll presume that you're all fine and dandy. If you do have any questions, stick them in, and I can always tag Trudie in to come and answer them if they're for her. I'll come and answer them if they're for me. You're more than welcome to message my page or Trudie's page. We are open to chatting to you about anything that you want to talk about.
Absolutely.
Not sure what I'm putting myself out there for getting messages about there. And I'll tag Trudie's page in above the video as soon as we're finished, because I'm not allowed to do that before we go live, which is a bit of a pain in the butt. So thank you so much, Miss, for joining me today. Absolutely gorgeous to have you. And thank you all for spending some time with us. And I hope that you have a rocking Tuesday and that it's a good one for you. So thank you all very much. Bye.